Hello everyone, welcome to another beer review. Now today we're doing Irish Red, Nitro. And there you go. Now I got this at the same time when I got O'Hara's Nitro Irish Stout. And yeah, it's cost me £11.99 for a 4-pack as well, thieving bastards. Although that's not O'Hara's fault. That's just the online shop taking advantage of it. So, but apparently, this beer is now the kind of favourite beer of Dara, who used to do the kind of Guinness Guru on YouTube. So this is his new favourite beer. So there you go. So he's kind of moved away from the Guinness now. And he likes O'Hara Irish Stout. He loves this. He can't get it around his head that basically you can get something else that. I mean, I think he's tried Kilkenny now. I think he's tried Kilkenny and all that type of stuff, but he's totally kind of in shock that if you add Nitro to other beer, it makes it creamy. And he's like, oh. So he's pushing his frillies over that one. And I used to spend a lot of time in Ireland. I used to do a lot of tech support over there. And I remember people used to say, what's really the difference between the Northern Irish and the Southern Irish? And I said, there's two things. The Northern Irish have more of a kind of harsher, more kind of accent, more in your face, then they're all about you and all that dead on. Especially sometimes you find some of them are quite monotone. You know, they're quite kind of in their kind of voice tone. How are you? That's dead on, so that. What about you? And that type of stuff. And it would just, but yeah, it just sounds kind of a bit. Women are really quite kind of harsh with the accent. I always find the women worse. But while the Southern Irish have a more lighter, delicate kind of lilt to their Irish accent, their breath is fucking stinking. Seriously. That's one thing I did notice spending a lot of time in Southern Ireland. There's a lot of people with fucking halitosis in Southern Ireland. Fuck me, was it bad. So that's why I always say it's too different. You might get the harshest of the Irish accent in Northern Ireland, but their breath is as fresh as a baby's arsehole. So it is. Unfortunately, you can't say the same about the Southern Irish. Now, I'm not going to say all Southern Irish have got bad breath, but by God, there's a fucking lot of them. God knows what they're fucking doing with that mouth of theirs, but for fuck's sake, seriously, get a grip, you know what I mean? You dirty bastards. I remember being stuck in a car with a guy. I'm not going to name his name, but by God. And we were kind of having to travel about Ireland. And I think we ended up having to go all the way down to, oh God, what was the place? It was down in Southern Ireland. Clonmel. Going down to Clonmel, actually. So we went past through the Kilkenny and the Bulmers, cider mill and brewery and that type of stuff. And down to Clonmel. And that was a fucking nightmare. His breath was unbelievable, but it stunk at the whole fucking car. I mean, I actually had to stop for lunch on the way. And just stopped off at a wee place, got a sandwich and that, and I thought, right, we're just eating to go. And that's fine, not a problem. I thought, well, probably quite good. Because basically, since we left Dublin, I kept asking, do you want a fucking bit of chewing gum? Want a bit of chewing gum? And every time, nah, I'm alright. I'm fucking taking it. Fuck's sake, taking it. You bastard, taking it. But no, he wouldn't. I thought, well, maybe if it's a case he's always having a sandwich, it'd be quite nice. It won't be so bad. No. The minute he'd finished eating the sandwich and drinking his Coke and everything else, it was straight back. Fucking instant bad breath. I'm like, oh, in the name of God, seriously. It's like basically being driven in a fucking public toilet. That's what it felt like. You know, I'm basically riding in a public toilet. It was unfucking believable. It was like dog shit. It was unfucking believable. But anyway. Right. So now I've offended all the Irish, and if you are offended, then get out. I don't care. I'm just telling the truth, and I've just found that for a lot of Irish people I've met in Ireland, their fucking breath is a disgrace, and there you go. Sue me. Oh, fucking hell, that's gone bollocks. Well, there you go. If you're Irish, you're probably thinking, it's fucking Carver for you. Smell that. So yeah, fair play to you. That's pissed all over the table, which I don't mind, because at the end of the day, the wife's not here, and it's a lot better than it pissing over me. So again, it's the same type of thing. Chill, pull, pour, and pause, and occasionally dry your hands. And you're letting it settle. Look at it. It's like a mix between John Smith and... Look at it there. Look at that. Like, one thing you would say with the nitro nuts, even you get a wee spill, even the spill gets ahead. But anyway, apparently Dara, the Guinness Guru guy, who no longer does the Guinness Guru, because at the end of the day he's realised there's a whole big world out there that tastes a lot better. Although I did actually quite like watching one of his videos, because he was trying to kind of obviously cover his sponsor, and he's standing in this bridge over the river in Dublin, and there's all these people going past, and he's basically trying to kind of advertise Manscaped, which is basically kind of male grooming products, basically all about fucking trimming your pubic hairs and that type of stuff. I don't know why. I've never had the urge to trim my pubic hairs or my arse hairs or that type of stuff, but apparently modern men love all that. You know, it's like, oh, if it's not smooth, it's not me. You know, that type of thing. Freaky bastards. But yeah, it was just so funny that with all these people going past, and he's talking about basically, you know, trimming his nether regions with this great new product, and he was getting all embarrassed, and now thinking, what is his breath like? But anyway, you know, it's kind of settled now. It's not as clear, I don't think. Or maybe it's not completely settled, but you can look at the fucking heat in it. Look at it. Jesus God. Oh, seriously. It's not as, well, I'll give it a wee bit longer, then maybe it's taking longer to kind of, it's a wee bit hazy. I can say that because apparently it's craft brewed in Ireland. I don't know what craft brewed means. I've had a craft beer. I don't know what craft brewed is. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're brewing it in a more kind of natural, traditional way, then that's fine. But you've added nitrogen to it, which is an additive that's actually changed the beer. So it's no longer natural or traditional then, is it? So what does craft mean? Well, craft means as well, we follow the kind of traditional way to a certain degree, and then we add our own pish. Is that what it means? Right, well, it's quite a dark red, actually. And it's not overly clear, which I suppose is a good thing, because you might actually get something a bit more flavour. Smell-wise, again, I'm getting slightly sugary syrup kind of tones. Maybe a little bit of malt, but again, not identifiable malt of any kind of caramel or toffee or any of that type of stuff, just slightly generic malty, edged with a kind of syrupy sweetness. Right, let's see what it's like. There's a wee bit of bitterness there. It's quite a thick head. It is quite creamy. We can see what he was growing about. It's quite sweet. I'm not saying it's overly sweet, but for me, it's overly sweet. For me, it's a bit sweeter than what I'd want it to be. And there's a bit of bitterness there. But yeah, again, typical kind of Irish red. There's not really much there. I've always found that with Irish reds and that type of stuff, there isn't really much to them in flavour wise. And again, you can understand why this is nitro, because at the end of the day, it's got to go for the texture, because there really isn't much in the flavour department. I mean, it's okay, but it's getting a wee bit better. Get a bit more of a hoppy edge to the back end. bit more grain building up in the mid-tongue. Sweetness is maybe slightly dying down a bit, which, trust me, is a good thing, in my view. Yeah, it's getting better. Again, it's these type of things, as I've always said, is you've got to drink it. You've got to kind of really allow your mouth to get acclimatised, because the beer will change as you start drinking it. And all these ones that you watch, they take a couple of sips, and then next minute they're waxing lyrical of all these flavours they can taste and how wonderful it is and everything else. And you're kind of looking at these videos on YouTube thinking, you're talking shite. Because there's no fucking way you're ever going to get the proper flavour of that beer being have a couple of wee lady sips. And I'm not saying that as derogatory towards ladies and that type of stuff, but I'm kind of talking about my mum was a lady and she always had little kind of lady sips. You know what I mean? So was my fucking dad. Yeah. Neither of them were big drinkers, so they basically both were drinking by God they could nurse it all night, so they could, you know what I mean? I'm sure they're fucking spitting in the glass, discreetly, spitting it back, I'm fucking level has. In fact, it's actually gone up. It's got a head in it, that sherry, mum, you know what I mean? Big glass of port, and you think, that fucker's got a head on it, and she's been drinking for half an hour. But yeah. So yeah, you've got to allow it a chance, and you've got to keep drinking, and you've got to allow your mouth to get acclimatised to it. So when you watch these people, when they just take a couple of sips, and next minute they're tasting everything, and they'll be able to tell you how wonderful it is and that, and you're thinking, yeah, you're talking bollocks. You really are. And there you go. Which also makes me wonder when they do this beer tasting, because when you're doing beer tasting, in competition and things like that, you're not drinking the full pint. And even then, you'd probably struggle to get it if you drank the full half pint. So again, it just shows you it's all fucking nonsense. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to get the true flavour of the beer because you're never getting your mouth properly acclimatised to it to pick up all the kind of nuances and the little kind of accent flavours and everything else. While allowing more intense flavours to start to kind of die down a bit, So there you go. You're getting a bit more to this now, initially, than what I got initially. Yeah. You are getting a bit more to it. For all, it's actually not too bad. I'm quite surprised, because there are a lot of the kind of Irish stouts. If I'm looking at the point of Kilkenny and everything else, Kilkenny, there's not really that much flavour there. There's not much resistance. Then you had that kind of mock Irish kind of red of Caffrey's, and well, let's be totally honest, I mean, that's a bit as Irish as John Smith is fucking Yorkshire. Yeah, Caffrey's is that kind of similar age to kind of that Nitro Boddingtons and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just muck, let's be totally honest. It's not real beer. It's a fucking texture in a can because there's fuck all else in it. So yeah, that's why they were kind of standing out. So Kilkenny's not as bad as the Caffreys and the Boddingtons and things like that. But on the John Smiths, even though John Smiths and Boddingtons are supposed to be a different beer, because it's all about texture and that, and none of them really have any flavour, that's why they can be really treated kind of similar. I mean, Kilkenny had a little bit more to it than that, but even then, not that much. Again, it was fairly kind of lightweight. Well, this just tends to have a little bit more to it. A lot more surprise. Right, let's break down some of these flavours. Right, start off, you get a little bit of malt, and maybe a light caramel. You're actually picking up maybe a little bit of light caramel in the malt, bit of grain, but then kind of sweetness that kind of matches the malt. Well, initially I actually thought it was a bit too sweet, but it's kind of died down now as my mouth has got kind of acclimatised to it. But as it starts to kind of move in, you've still got the same level of grain, you've still got the same level of malt. I felt that the sweetness in some pockets in the mid-tongue was kind of getting a bit more and just made it a bit too sweet. But what I'm now picking up is a little kind of bitter accent, which is kind of controlling it a lot better. So it's not as sweet as it was initially, but you're starting to get these little kind of bitter accents amongst the grain on the malt through the kind of mid-tongue. And when it starts to get into the kind of back end of the mid-tongue before it moves over, it starts to kind of ramp up and you're starting to get a little bit more bitterness. So the point is you're also picking up maybe a little bit of metallic there as well. Just ever so slightly, a little bit of metallic, which isn't enough to annoy me, but I know it's there. Which I don't like that type of flavour, but it's not enough to annoy me. But I know it's there. And yeah, you're getting this little bit of bitterness as part of that. But it's quite a clean finish, there's nothing lingers, and all the flavours kind of dissipate quite quickly into the kind of back of the mouth, and it's a very light and clean aftertaste. But there's actually more bitterness there than I expected, and it's good that the kind of sweetness is died down. So as it's gone on, I've actually started to kind of enjoy it a bit better. But it's almost like a fucking ice cream float. Look at it, look at the stare that. Which of course, if you like that, that's great. But it does seem that O'Hara's has a bit more about it, flavour wise, between their Irish Stout and their Irish Red. They're a little bit more bolder in their flavours, which I don't think is a bad thing. The only problem is that they feel they have to go down the Nitro Stout. I mean, let's be totally honest, they made a nice Irish Stout with this type of flavour profile, but had it in the cask, I think it'd be a hell of a lot nicer, let's be totally honest. And for me, it loses it when it comes out of keg, especially when there's nitrous going through it. But anyway, what would I give this out of 10? There's a question. Well, it's kind of surprising, but I'm going to treat this in the same realms as any other kind of nitro pour kind of drink. And I think it's kind of up there with its Irish Stout. There's a decent level of flavour, which I didn't expect. And there's not a bad level. I'm not saying it's a huge level of bitterness, but there's not a bad bit of bitterness there on the back end as well, which again was a bit of a surprise to me, because I didn't expect it, because you don't really expect to get that with these kind of style of Irish red ales that are kind of produced for the masses and more of the kind of the nitro side of it. So yeah, I'm going to give it the same. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it the same mark as I initially gave the Irish Stout. Like I say, I think the Irish Stout, I'm going to be redoing a head-to-head with other nitro stouts. So obviously that mark will change. But right now, as of me doing this, yeah, I would give it the same. I'm going to treat it on a similar vein as any other nitro pour beer. And yeah, it's actually not too bad. But again, I'd rather not have a nitro beer, I'll be totally honest. Not really my cup of tea. And I'd rather have a good cask ale anytime. A really good fresh cask ale. That'd be right up my street before any of this. But yeah, 5.5 out of 10. It's a 440ml can. Price wise, I'll find it out in euros and things like that from Ireland and that type of stuff. But yes, it's roughly about £3 a tin if you're buying it online in the UK. But that's just life, you know. It's just the way it is. But anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. And bye for now.